Hello and welcome to Bird Fans Forever, episode number 52. Today's guests are Jenny Kabbes Fuente. She played volleyball from 1998 to 2002 and a new member of the ISU Hall of Fame, class of the 2024. And we also have Emily Kabbes Kauten. Hopefully I got that right, 2002 to 2005. Remember, follow us on YouTube. Please hit the subscribe button and please give us a thumbs up. For audio version of the podcast, you can get that from Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Audible, to name a few. Hello and welcome to Bird Fans Forever, episode 52. I have the Kabbes sisters. They're going to do their own introduction because we all know how well John's going to do pronunciation of last names. So, Jenny, we're going to start with you.
Hi, I'm Jenny Fuente.
Emily?
And I'm Emily Kauten.
Okay, awesome. They played from 98?
98,
right?
Yes.
98?
2 shoulder surgeries. So I played
2 shoulder surgeries, okay.
Yeah, I played 2 years, then red shirt, and then played 2 more. So I finished in 2002.
And that's how...
And then we met up.
That's how you end up playing with your sister, right?
Yeah.
Emily, because you started in 2002. You were in the 2002 season, and you played at 2006.
Correct, yeah.
Correct. So, fun fact, Emily... first job out is at Grove Elementary. It is my son's kindergarten teacher. So besides getting to watch Emily and Jenny play volleyball, she became my son's teacher. So, okay. And as far as we know, in all the research we've done, I've talked to Tom LaMonica and SIDs, you are the only 2 sisters, whether on a field or on a court, to ever be on the same surface at the same time. So a neat little fact, I don't know if you guys know that. There has been 2 sets of brothers play football together, but that's the only other sport that has done that. So a very cool honor for both of you 2. All right, so how we start Bird Fans Forever, how'd you get to ISU? So Jenny, we're going to have you go first.
Okay. I didn't start playing volleyball until like 7th grade. And nowadays that is rare. Got into club volleyball then my sophomore year. I didn't really know that I was going to play college volleyball or how good that I was or good enough to play college volleyball. And growing up a townie, I thought I'm going to go anywhere but Illinois State. Like I'm going to go far away, anywhere, like everything sounds awesome. I'm going to do all that stuff. So, I was recruited, was just my senior year. Recruiting was not as advanced time-wise as it is now. So I took all of my official visits, 5 of them, and then I also tacked on several more to probably drive my parents crazy. So I visited a lot of schools and just said to myself and everyone, I want to see all of these places before I decide. So I had them all lined up and thought, I'm going to go here, 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 and here, and then I'll decide at the end. Illinois State.
And where were those locations?
Well, I went to Kansas. I went to Miami. I can't even remember now. Emily, do you remember where some of the places I visited? Clemson.
Did you go to Clemson?
North Carolina. San Diego, yeah, I can't even remember. They all blend together now. Like that would be something cool that I probably would want to say what of a great recruit I was, but it doesn't matter anymore. So, Illinois State didn't recruit me until later on. They didn't show a lot of interest. Coach Julie Morgan kind of said that she didn't want, it was kind of a touchy balance to recruit local athletes because a lot of people probably wanted interest, but she didn't want to show interest if she wasn't for sure interested in that person playing. So they were not on my radar until later. So I went on a visit there And really the fans and the support was a big deal for me. I thought I had been to these other places and there was a couple hundred people in the stands. And I thought, man, if I'm going to play college sports, it would be cool if a lot of people were interested in it and liked it and cheered us on. And so it worked out that I chose the school that was like 2 or 3 miles from my parents' house, and I visited, I think, 6 or 7 other ones. So I took them on a wild goose chase, and I'm the oldest of 4, so there was also younger siblings, and I'm sure my parents were wondering how they're going to make that all work. But it's kind of my recruiting story. I was the townie that didn't know she wanted to be a townie. So.
And now live in Dallas, so you're not even still a townie. So.
Yes. Yep. Correct.
All right, Emily, how did you get to ISU?
Well, I got to sit in on all of Jenny's visits. And back when Jenny was getting recruited, they would do official visits. So all these coaches came to our house, and my mom was preparing huge meals for them. And I was, like in 8th grade or something, and I would just sit and listen to all of it. So it was kind of fun. I had a front row seat before I even got recruited. But I played club like Jenny, and I had interest. I knew I probably didn't want to go as far. I took visits to Indiana, University of Kentucky, St. Louis U, Western Kentucky, and it was between Western Kentucky and Illinois State. And Jenny and I are 4 years apart in school, so when I was a freshman in high school, she was a freshman in college. So we weren't necessarily super close. Like, we got along growing up, but we weren't necessarily super close. So having her at ISU was kind of something I thought, oh, that would be fun, but it wasn't for sure my deciding factor.
Right,
no offense,
right.
Jenny. But I thought it'd be fun. And we became super close once I went to ISU. But I really enjoyed Western Kentucky. I loved the coach there. He's been there forever. But I've wanted to be a teacher since I was little. I knew I wanted to be a teacher, and so it was hard to say no to a great education program and then a great volleyball program. And I loved the coach, and so it kind of made my decision easy. I do remember my mom, us driving back from one of my visits in Kentucky, and she's like, you're going to stay awake this whole time, so you know how long it takes to get back home to us. So I ended up loving my experience there. But yeah, a couple of reasons why I chose Illinois State, the volleyball and the academics.
All right. So next question up. So Jenny ends up getting hurt, but you're going into your sophomore year or your junior year?
Into my junior year.
Into your junior year. All right. So that will cause you to red shirt. I'm also a red shirt, medical red shirt. And then that will lead you to play with Emily. So what happened there? And when you had the surgery on the shoulder, did you know you were going to be out for the whole year, or did they just talk about sitting out and not rushing back?
After my sophomore year, I had a lot of pain. I had some injections. We tried to do everything. Surgery was kind of the last resort, and then had shoulder surgery. My labrum was torn, the cartilage around my shoulder. When they went in for surgery, I think they tried to just scope it. It was not in good shape, so they made an incision, and they said my shoulder just fell out of socket when they released the capsule. So it was a little bit worse than they thought. That was the end of my sophomore year, so I thought I would for sure have that off season and hopefully be back. But it never.
Yeah.
Yes. I was just still having issues once I had, finished with the rehab. Still having issues. We got a second opinion, and I went to another doctor in Indianapolis and had surgery again. I think that was my junior year, or maybe the summer of my junior year. So I knew obviously I was out for that year. I tried to travel with the team. I remember flying on the small planes, and it was so much pressure in my shoulder. I couldn't even travel anymore. So I was really just out of the loop, not with the team, wishing. It was really, really hard. I played as a freshman, played my sophomore year, so it was very hard to be out that year. So Emily and I are now then closer together to playing. So we were 4 years apart, and now she, my 5th year would be now her freshman year of college, which was still not in the picture. We hadn't really even talked about being together. Again, I was in college, she was in high school. We were kind of living two different stages of our lives at that point. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like we talked about off air, right? Playing sports in college is more time consuming than actually having a job.
Yes.
Right, between education and the amount of time and video and that. I mean, it. Yeah. All right. So I'm assuming you're living in an apartment, and Jenny, Emily, that means you're going to be going into the dorm.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, I lived in the dorms my freshman year. Made my best friends of my life in the dorms. My college teammates were all getting together this weekend, actually.
Where? You guys
Chicago.
Are you going to Chicago? Very cool.
I loved the dorms. It was like a sleepover with your best friends every night. So I had great teammates, loved them, and had the opportunity to play with Jenny. And actually, right before my freshman year, Jenny and I played the same position. We're both middles. And right before my freshman year, our position coach, Jenny Jones, ended up taking a job somewhere else. And it was right before season, right, Jenny?
Right.
Yes.
And so it was almost too late. Like they couldn't get they didn't hire for that position.
I think there was a hiring
Maybe
freeze
that's
at
why it
Illinois
didn't
State. And so they had to wait to hire someone. But yeah.
So Jenny did not probably need a position coach as a 5th year senior middle. I most definitely did. I needed a position coach. And so Jenny became my position coach. Actually, she was such a great athlete that she played all the way around, which not very many middle hitters do that anymore.
Right.
Where she serve received and passed and played defense in the back row, which is one of the reasons she's in the Hall of Fame. But she's a great athlete. So she was playing, we played opposite of each other. So like when she was in middle back, I was in middle front. And so she coached me throughout the entire game. Like she talked to me during the play, in the middle of the play, telling me what to do and what to be able, what I should be seeing and things like that. So probably I got more coaching than I would have having an actual assistant on the sidelines. So it was super, super fun. We bonded pretty quickly my freshman year because of that. And then she went on to be a graduate assistant and my official coach then for the rest of my playing career.
So was there no other middle hitters? Do you in volleyball? And I'm a basketball player, so please forgive my ignorance. Do they carry more than 1, 2, or 3 middle hitters, or?
Yeah, well, only 2 are typically playing in a game. So
Understandable. Yep.
When 3 rotations in the front, and then someone else comes in for 3 rotations in the front. We probably carried 4 middle hitters, Jenny?
Yeah. But Emily was the other starter.
Jenny, did you start as a freshman too?
Yes.
Wow. Very cool.
Cool and a little bit scary.
Well, as a freshman, yeah. You started as a
Very
freshman, yeah. You're all of a sudden in front of bigger crowds, and yeah.
Yeah, real scary.
We were talking about it last night. Actually, my parents were here in Texas, and my mom was saying what a wreck I was my freshman year because I was calling her at night crying my eyes out because I was like, it was hard. I was trying to tell my daughters how hard it was. It's hard being an athlete. It's hard being a freshman that played, and sometimes your same classmates are not in the same track you are. Like they're just enjoying being a college athlete that practices. And I was like, it was very, very hard. So my mom said this story. Emily, I don't know if you remember it or not, but she says, we did not even realize what was going on or how good your mom was because there was a conference tournament. They went to a bunch of the games, all kinds of games. There was a conference tournament. Dad was like, we don't even know why we didn't go, what we had going on. And there was a banquet beforehand for the conference, and they handed out awards. And I earned freshman of the year in the whole conference, and my parents were not even there because they didn't even realize that I was going to get that award or how good I was in the conference. And they're like, well, that was so stupid of us. What were we doing? And they've been, like, our senior years, I think they went to every game. So they were at a lot of things, but they were like, we didn't even realize that was really not good of us. So anyways, kind of funny. And Emily, of course, played as a freshman.
So did your parents not travel as much with you that they did for like Emily, or even later in your career?
I remember them being at all kinds of stuff, but my sister was in high school volleyball at the time, so I'm sure there was some times when they couldn't come. But being Illinois State in the old conference,
right.
There was closer games that they would travel to also. So I remember them being at 80% of them, and I think it was their goal my senior year to come to all of them. So they were always there from what I remember.
Yeah, they didn't miss a game our senior years.
Wow, that is so cool. All right, Jenny, you're giving your sister direction. Did you ever make her cry, or did you ever have to yell at her or anything like that, or was she actually listening? Because younger sisters and younger brothers, I have a younger brother, they don't listen.
I think we were further enough apart in age that we were not in competition with each other, and I always wanted her to succeed. And as a middle, you kind of have a special place in your heart for other middles. Like, it's a hard job. You have to jump all the time. You have to block every ball. Even when you don't get set, you have to jump and transition and be available for your setter. So I do remember in the back row wanting to pass really well, because that meant we could run a good offense. And if we ran a good offense, that was running the middle, or the middle being a decoy, to create holes in the block for our outside and right side hitters. So, like, I know I yelled a lot, like passing a free ball, go, 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 like telling her to transition, to go. But I don't believe I made her cry. I think it was stressful enough, her playing in college and all that, that I didn't need to add on to that. I was just trying to help her because I knew how it felt. So
your sister's giving you direction. Is there any time you wanted to just turn around and stick your tongue out at her? I mean, come on. I mean, I've got 3 kids. I know how my little brother is. I mean, nothing?
I don't think so, because I was like, I need all the help I can get. I just felt like 1 year ago I was playing at Central Catholic in the pit, and now I am playing in front of, we played Stanford after they won the national championship my freshman year. I'm playing in front of 5,000 people in Redbird Arena. Like, I need every single pointer you can give me. I will take all the help you can give me. And I think we started 3 freshmen, myself and 2 of my girlfriends. We had 3 freshmen on the floor at times. So we tell stories, but our head coach, Sharon, was like, stop playing like freshmen. She was telling us that. We're like, we do not know what we're doing. We are trying our best.
Hitting percentage. We were just talking off air, and you were talking about, do you know what your hitting percentage is? Obviously you didn't. Your sister did, but you had no idea. Do you want to explain this?
Yeah, we had a home tournament that we would host every fall, and it was a day game, and I don't know, it was probably between games 2 and 3, and Jenny was coaching at the time. She wasn't playing, and she's like, you're doing great. Do you know what you're hitting right now? And I said, no, I have no idea. And, as a middle, our goal was to hit 350, kind of like a batting average.
Yeah.
And she said, you're hitting over 800 right now. And I was like, oh, well, that's pretty good, I guess, isn't it? So we, Jenny's Hall of Fame weekend, we had kind of gone over some stats and things like that, because we never really compared or talked about it a ton when we were playing. And yeah, I think I hit 875 on a match one time, which is pretty fun.
So are you and Jenny's numbers pretty close, comparable? Or
yeah, like kills and hitting percentage and blocks, I don't think that they're too far off. Jenny, would you say?
yeah, I agree. I think we're all.
So I'm going to jump in here. So good. So with that being said, we want to make sure anybody who's on the Hall of Fame, make sure that Emily is now added to that. So, oh yes, I am going to make sure I know 2 of the voters. I am going to go corner them. I got in trouble with the police the last home men's game. I can get in trouble again, right? I have no problem bullying people on your behalf. And so you need to be in the Hall. 2 sisters in the Hall. We'll leave your 2 brothers out, right? And so, all right. So talk about hitting percentage.
As a middle, yes. Over 300, 350 is good to hit. Outside hitters get the ball more. They get, when the pass isn't great or when it's out of system, they're getting some ugly balls their way, and so their hitting percentage isn't high, but middles are typically getting the ball when the pass is good. And so it's expected that you have a little bit of a higher hitting percentage. But before I went to college, I had no knowledge of any of these stats or anything like that. So it was a huge learning curve, what I should be hitting in a match and how many blocks I should be averaging and things like that. So it was kind of something fun to learn. But, you were asking if we had compared during our careers, and we never really did. We didn't talk about past players and what they hit or how many kills they had on their career or anything like that. I don't know if that's the difference between basketball and volleyball or men's and women's sports or things like that, because nobody was really talking about personal stats in our games.
Right. Yeah.
And volleyball's kind of such a different sport than basketball, where you're not going to be able to run an offense unless you're passing, and you can't have just one person killing the ball every time, because then the other team knows it's going to them every single time. So we didn't really talk about stats a ton in comparison to other players.
See, and we were always handed stats at the end of the game, right? So we knew when we're getting on the bus to make the trip to Tulsa, Wichita, because you usually play 2 on the road. Mm-hmm. We were handed the stats, so you knew what everybody did that night, and of course coaches did too, and they reminded you of that. And so Jenny talked about that. I think it was Jenny. You were looking at the coach, so you got to tell that story.
We were playing it at Southern Illinois in their small little gym, and we should never have gone to 5 with them. Obviously, we want to beat them all the time, every time we play them, but for some reason we just were a little bit off, and I was pretty fiery when I played, and played with a lot of emotion, which is kind of weird because I'm pretty even-keeled and that sort of thing, but I just got really mad, and I could hear their coach kind of yapping, it's close quarters and things like that, so I just started demanding the ball. Like, set me this way, I'm going to hit it this way. Set me a 1 this way, I'm going to hit it this way. And I just remember bouncing balls and then would look over and kind of scream at the coach every time I got a kill. And it was a very close, intense match. And I just remember feeling of like, I don't want to be stopped. I can't be stopped. Let's finish this game. And that was pretty fun for me. So.
Emily, you talked about the Stanford game, even though it's a loss.
Yeah, definitely a loss, but a really cool experience. The reason Stanford had come back, it was my freshman year, Jenny's 5th year, is because Bloomington native Agana Namani went and played at Stanford and went on to be, national champions and on the Olympic team and things like that. And so they won the national championship the year prior, and then came to Illinois State in September to play us. And we set a record for attendance at Redbird Arena. The entire lower bowl was full. There was over 5,000?
Wow.
I don't know how many people the lower bowl holds, but a ton of people there. And it was a super fun game. And Agana actually played club with Jenny a little bit in high school, so we knew the family a little bit, and they're the nicest people. So it was kind of fun to have them back. But I remember blocking or trying to block Agana, and my setter and I are trying to block, and our setter turns around and is like, "You guys, where's the ball going?" And our defense is like, "It's going over you. Like, she is jumping higher than you. you're not going to touch the ball. So they were kind of another level. Yeah.
All right, Jenny, back to you. Rapid fire. Long Beach. You were talking about that game.
Long Beach State, we had a tournament, I think it was my sophomore year. Again, I can't remember all these particulars, but Misty May was the setter who ended up obviously winning Olympic medals in beach volleyball. They had won a lot of games. I think they had a record for wins it's called the Beach. The court looks like it has sand on it. It was really cool. But their claim to fame there was if they beat a team in under 1 hour, then everybody in the stands would get free hot dogs. And it was our goal to lose in over an hour so that the fans could not get their free hot dogs, and we accomplished that goal. So we played them a little, tougher than most people, and we felt good about that. I do remember being the middle, standing there. She's the setter. The ball's coming on my side of the net, but she's back row, so I don't want to jump with her. But she just reached over on my side of the net and set it a perfect ball to her outside, and I probably just stood there and couldn't believe that happened. But she was amazing to watch run the offense, and a cool experience to go play with. That nowadays they have these kind of athletes but I think there was a 6'7" right side that we played against, some very, very tall people on that team. So yeah, it was a good experience. Made us better for the other games. So. And
that was your freshman year?
Well, I think it was my sophomore year. I remember my freshman year we played in Colorado, and like Emily said, I didn't realize I was going to start. It was probably I felt like I needed more information. Like, am I starting? Am I not starting? And standing there looking across the net saying, I just turned 18 like 2 weeks ago. My birthday was in August. I just turned 18, and these people over here are like 22, 23 years old. Like, what am I doing? I'm so scared. So that was in Colorado, I'm pretty sure. But again, I should have studied more before I got on this podcast. Here you go.
You also talked about your freshman year going to play in the NCAA tournament.
Yes. We had an at-large bid to go play in the NCAA tournament, and we played at Nebraska, which is very, very well known for their volleyball. It was a smaller arena, and they had sellouts all the time. We didn't have to play them. We played somebody else, but just being in that gym, there's no empty seat anywhere, and the fan support that they got, similar to Illinois State. I felt like, those fans knew volleyball, just like Illinois State fans knew how to cheer for volleyball. That was a really cool experience at the end of my freshman year, yes.
You got a chance to play for Julie Morgan, who is also in the hall. So hopefully, Emily, you just pick up the pace and get in. How was playing for Julie?
Julie was very, very intense and serious, which is good for me. I like to know where you stand, and she was very demanding. She asked a lot of us, and we tried to give her our best, and it wasn't always good enough. She had a very high standard. We were a really good team when she was our coach, so props to her, the people around us, but it was hard. It was hard work, and being a freshman, and they had great history also leading up to my freshman year, and lots of good success and things like that. So I was just just tell me what to do. I'm going to step in line and follow her lead, because she obviously knows what she's doing. So it was a good experience to be coached by such a knowledgeable person and at a really high level. So,
all right, Jenny, second to last question. So when you get the call for the Hall of Fame, did anybody give you a heads up this was coming? Did you know you were on the ballot, or is it just a call that comes out of the blue?
It was straight out of the blue. It was this summer, in the beginning of July. I was actually out of town with my family and my husband's family. We were at a lake, and I was helping him park the boat, which is not a very fun job with the boater. My phone rings, and says Illinois State or something like that, and I assumed it was in regards to my brother, Paul, who was interested in an opening at Illinois State. And so I thought, well, this must be something about Paul. I'll answer it and see what they need. I got a second here until my boater husband comes in. So I answer it, and it was Dr. Beggs saying, "Hi, Jenny, it's Dr. Beggs. This is my first phone call, and I wanted to let you know I'm so excited to tell you that you're going to be nominated, or you're in the Hall of Fame." And what? Are you serious? What are you talking about? Complete shock, not on the radar, no idea I was up for it, any sort of thing like that. So I'm standing outside in 100 degrees sweating, taking this phone call, not knowing what's going on. Super excited, very humbled and honored, shocked, surprised, but also wanted to share the news with my family. Told my husband, I have something to tell you once you get the boat tied down and parked. I need your full attention for this. It's kind of a big deal. Then called my parents and got to tell them, and then got to tell I think I had to wait to tell other people, or maybe I can't remember how it all worked out. Got to tell my sister and my brothers, and coming back to ISU was it exceeded my expectations. The weekend was wonderful. Good. I was able to bring all three of my daughters and my husband back with us. He coached football at Illinois State, so he knew a lot of people and had a lot of good memories. We have a lot of good memories together, so it was great for both of us to reconnect with people and to celebrate my teammates and my parents and my sister and my brothers who were there through all of it with me. So it was wonderful, but I was completely shocked and taken aback by the whole thing. So
that is an awesome honor, well deserved. Is awesome. All right, my daughter's a lawyer, so this is the closing. So Emily, you get to go first. Closing.
I absolutely loved my time at Illinois State. It was some of the 4 best years of my life. My teammates and I joke. I met my husband there at the Athletic Study Center and made some of my best friends that I'm still best friends with to this day. And the experience of being a student athlete is something I never took for granted, and I still don't to this day, because I think it's one of the coolest experiences, and it absolutely is such a short period in your life, but I think it had a huge impact on the person that I am today, and I learned so much from it. Hard work and dedication and time management, and just working for something bigger than yourself. And so I have the most love and respect for my coaches and teammates and all the people that I met along the way at Illinois State. And so it's seriously just nothing but love for me. And I feel very thankful and blessed that I got to be a part of it, and then that I'm still in this community today. And so it's kind of fun to still support the Redbirds, and our brother is working at ISU, so we still have ties there, and so that kind of makes it fun too. So,
Jenny, you're closing.
Well, it's hard to beat that. I would just like to say the same thing Emily said. I feel the same way. It's a blessing to have been a college athlete at a great place like Illinois State, and the stars aligned for Emily and I to play together, which is an experience that we would have never had, and it was such a wonderful experience for both of us and our parents, and family to witness that. I loved my teammates and my coaches, especially Sharon Dingman. I have a great relationship with her and still get to touch base with her. And even nowadays, teammates reaching out or reconnecting with people is such a neat part of life, the older you get. So thrilled to have been a Redbird, and can't say enough good things about it. So
awesome. Emily, Jenny, thank you so much for being on Bird Fans Forever. This is episode 52, and normally I have my engineer do this, but I'm going to do it. And there's the clapping. John, I can do this and you can't.